Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Friday Night SmackDown. Here's Aleister Black. Okay then, well ladies and gentlemen, as I said, welcome to Friday Night SmackDown. Of course, my name is Dominic from behind the commentary table, and it seems as though Aleister Black has decided to challenge none other than Kevin Owens to a match for the WWE title. And well, I can't say that I am complaining about that, okay? Aleister Black, he's a very dangerous competitor, so is Kevin Owens, as we saw a few weeks ago at Elimination Chamber, the man who is suspended for his actions at that Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. However, ladies and gentlemen, at WrestleMania, Aleister Black, he wants a shot at the WWE Champion. Well, we're going to find out exactly what happens with that in the near future. However, right now it's time for some women's action as the SmackDown Women's Champion is looking to kick us off here against a young lady by the name of, I believe her name is Stacy Donovan. Okay, she's a local competitor right here. And tonight, in front of her hometown crowd, perhaps she may get the job done against the SmackDown Women's Champion as Sasha Banks watches on Bayley. Oh, with a big drop kick by young Donovan, going for the cover immediately on the champion. No, only a one count. Not even a one count, sorry. As Bayley, she's set for action against this young competitor with a chop to the chest before a massive forearm strike, but it doesn't take down Stacy here, but that does with the back suplex. Okay, Bayley, of course, at the Elimination Chamber, also felt some success. Oh, retaining the SmackDown Women's title against Kairi Sane so that she can go on and fight at WrestleMania against the woman who won the Women's Elimination Chamber match, Ember Moon. However, right now, as Ember Moon is probably watching this right now, this young local competitor, Stacy Donovan, is doing a hell of a good job here with the Hurricane Rana off the rebound, taking her down. And the champion won. No, only a one count on the champion. You gotta think. I mean, Stacy Donovan, sure, she doesn't particularly have a long-term contract here in the WWE. It's kind of a one-night appearance, but you gotta think, if she were to somehow win here tonight against the champion, well, then she has to be in contention for perhaps a spot here on SmackDown. Okay, perhaps she may catch the eye of any of the general managers during the next draft following WrestleMania. However, right now, Bayley, the SmackDown Women's Champion, looking out towards the crowd here. Okay, on a night where we're going to be seeing a lot of action, we're going to be seeing, a lot of interesting developments. However, right now, Stacy Donovan flips out of it, showing off that athleticism, and now showing off her incredible in-ring ingenuity, using the ropes to her advantage. 1, 2. No, only a 2 count on the champion. However, Bayley gets up almost immediately. Of course, Bayley in the blue, white, and black, representative of not only SmackDown, but of the SmackDown Women's title. And now the SmackDown Women's Champion is just slamming young Donovan's head into the mat over and over again. And then a Bayley Plex connecting, taking down this young local competitor. As Sasha Banks watches on, however, Donovan gets up almost immediately, trying to fight back, but instead she gets a neck breaker. Okay, we've got a lot to get through here tonight. We're going to be hearing from none other than The Undertaker in our main event segment. Okay, we are going to be witnessing what should be an incredible fight between Rusev and the current Intercontinental Champion, Drew McIntyre. Rusev perhaps looking to join the IC title rankings. However, the SmackDown Women's Champion takes down Donovan. 1, 2, 3, and this one's over. Just like that, Bayley gets the job done. Okay, she's the SmackDown Women's Champion for a reason, and you just saw it with a incredibly quick matchup to kick off Friday Night SmackDown. And there you see, okay, Sasha Banks on the outside as the SmackDown Women's Champion celebrates her victory. Okay, I'm being told right now, however, backstage, ladies and gentlemen, Sheamus may be looking to talk to the crowd as well in a few moments. However, of course, our main event of the evening that I mentioned earlier, the main event segment, The Undertaker, none other than the legend, the Phenom, the Dead Man himself, as we are looking towards WrestleMania. A man who has defined his legacy off that event has something to say. What will The Undertaker have to say here tonight to the crowd? But of course, ladies and gentlemen, that... Oh, well, hold on a second. I'm being told right now, as you can see, Eric Young attacking Kofi Kingston backstage. I was gonna get through what else was happening tonight, but it seems as though Big E and Killian Dane now fighting, and I believe Sanity is attacking the New Day backstage. My God, so much chaos already here on SmackDown. Okay, I can't even get through a sentence here before something happens, as now Eric Young, with that neck breaker right to the back of the skull of Kofi Kingston, and now it seems as though Alexander Wolf is the one hitting his own finishing maneuver with the powerbomb on the concrete, and oh my God, Killian Dane, oh my God, taking down Big E. Well, it seems as though so much is happening already in the first 10 minutes of this episode, as Sanity have completely just dismantled the SmackDown Tag Team Champions backstage. Well, I'm not too sure what to say to that. However, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring, one half of the bar, none other than Sheamus, apparently coming out here alone, not entirely sure what he wants to say. Okay, I was just being told that Sheamus was prepping to walk out here with a message. Okay, this wasn't particularly part of the plan either, but now it was an attack by Sanity on the New Day, so all hell is breaking loose here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. However, Sheamus, he's in the ring, so what exactly is it that he has to say? Well, seems as though Sheamus has decided to make some very bold claims in regards to that man, Cesaro, calling him the weak link of the bar. Of course, we've seen these two men have their differences these past few months here on SmackDown, okay? Constantly ending up in brawls, eliminating each other from the Royal Rumble even. So the question is, what exactly does Cesaro have to say to these claims by Sheamus? Wait, did he just say that he doesn't need him anymore? Well, Sheamus and Cesaro, apparently, I guess they're gonna have a match next week. Oh god, perhaps maybe the fight can start right now with Cesaro! Cesaro and Sheamus still going back and forth here in this brawl, and here we go! Okay, these two combustible elements have been waiting to explode all over that ring, and it seems as though that's what's happening, as Cesaro gets a knee right to the jaw, and Sheamus stands alone in the ring. And Sheamus apparently towering over Cesaro here. And you gotta think, will this be a similar sight next week when the two men face off in the middle of the ring? Well, I'm not entirely sure. Okay, Cesaro versus Sheamus, that's a dream match in the making. However, ladies and gentlemen, I want to turn your attention to something that's not really pertaining to anything involving SmackDown. However, it is pertaining to something happening to EC3. Of course, Jackson Ryker, he's not really a member of the SmackDown roster yet. He apparently went to EC3's house, took a picture with him saying this on Twitter, quote, "Since EC3 decided to fire me, I decided to pay him a visit at his house." I could be wrong, but is this EC3? And I can tell you this right now, that's not EC3. I'm not entirely sure who that is. Perhaps some sort of employee of EC3 at his house. I'm not entirely sure. However, this whole thing with EC3 and Jackson Ryker is clearly getting out of control. However, somebody who seemingly was out of control at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view is none other than the woman who will be competing against Bayley at WrestleMania. So, what does Ember Moon have to say? Well, Ember Moon, of course, the woman who lost to Bayley back at Survivor Series, apparently having a few key words to say to Bayley, saying that, well, she's gonna take her damn head home with her at WrestleMania. And, well, even though that is a very gory and violent thought by Ember Moon, okay, that should probably tell you exactly how much she despises Bayley. Okay, the woman who took the SmackDown Women's title away from her. Perhaps Ember Moon, following her victory inside the Elimination Chamber, could take the title back home with her after her match at WrestleMania. However, right now, that man, Rusev, is ready for a match. He's ready for action against the Intercontinental Champion, Drew McIntyre. Now, Rusev, he hasn't particularly done too much over this past year here on Friday Night SmackDown. Okay, he's a dominating presence indeed, but in terms of overall growth, he hasn't really seen too much. He's a former Royal Rumble winner. He's a former World Heavyweight Champion. Yet Rusev, he finds himself a bit overlooked. And perhaps after a win here tonight, that could lead him to superstardom once again. But a win over Drew McIntyre is seemingly an impossible task, as he's going up against the Scottish psychopath, the Intercontinental Champion, who is looking to get a victory in his own right because he also feels a tiny bit overlooked. Sure, he's the Intercontinental Champion. Sure, he's beaten the likes of Kevin Owens and Johnny Gargano and Eric Young in these past few months. However, he hasn't really seen too much pay-per-view action. Okay, we've seen a lot of high-profile encounters here on SmackDown, but not when it comes to the pay-per-views, and some may argue that the pay-per-views mean a hell of a lot more than the weekly shows. I'll leave that for debate. I'll leave that up to you and your opinions, but what I do know is this: Drew McIntyre, he's got a fury within him, and he is looking to unleash it here against Rusev. He's the Intercontinental Champion, and he perhaps is thinking to himself that maybe, just maybe, a victory over Rusev could land him a WrestleMania slot. Rusev, he's thinking the same thing against Drew McIntyre. If Rusev can get a victory against that man, perhaps he can see his stock rise enough to enter WrestleMania. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to find out following this matchup who is the better man. As the Intercontinental Champion, Drew McIntyre, he stares off. He's holding that title high and proudly, as he should. He has beaten so many competitors. Okay, Kevin Owens, the current WWE Champion, lost the Intercontinental Championship to that man, Drew McIntyre. And I mentioned it earlier, but Kevin Owens, he's a very dangerous opponent indeed. However, these two brutes, these two heavyweights are looking to battle, and here we go. The bell rings. We got Drew McIntyre. We've got Rusev. Let's go, as Rusev immediately with a punch to the face. Now, Rusev this time last year was prepping for a match against Aiden English, his former tag team partner. Drew McIntyre this time last year was looking forward to WrestleMania and a potential shot at the WWE title, which he did win for only a brief few seconds before EC3 cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase. However, these two big men now are looking to beat the hell out of each other. Oh, goes for a kick, does Rusev. Oh, but goes for a clothesline in response, does Drew McIntyre, and yet neither man unable to take the other one down. Okay, following this, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be hearing from none other than the dead man himself, The Undertaker. However, right now, Rusev and McIntyre, they're brawling, they're fighting before we head into that main event segment here with The Undertaker. However, Rusev with a punch right to the gut, goes for a punch to the face, but instead, counters it there with a kick right to the stomach, does Rusev, and then another kick for good measure, as these two men are going back and forth here, as, Rusev, perhaps focusing on the midsection tonight, going after Drew McIntyre. Of course, his finishing maneuver, the Accolade, wears down the lower back, wears down the midsection of his opponents as he goes for another kick, but instead Drew McIntyre counters, picks him up and drops him down on his stomach. Perhaps saying, hey, you focused on my stomach long enough, perhaps I focus on yours as well, taking down the big man. But now both men are back to their feet, and here we go. As McIntyre runs towards him and collides with the clothesline. Oh god, but Rusev takes him down there, just forcing him to the mat. As right now, we're kind of at a stalemate. Sure, Rusev is standing tall now, but Drew McIntyre, has seemingly had an answer for almost everything. But not that, as he just gets beeled across the ring. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count here on SmackDown. As the Intercontinental Champion connects with a punch to the gut. And of course, the WWE Champion, the top title here on SmackDown, is not here on SmackDown right now. Okay, the WWE Champion, Kevin Owens, he has been suspended, as we saw last week. However, the Intercontinental Champion right now, perhaps trying to show the world that he should be the top champion here. On Friday Night SmackDown, but Rusev puts him on the top rope, connecting with those knees over and over again before launching him across the ring. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count after launching him. However, right now, Drew McIntyre, as he gets the shoulder up, he's got to be thinking to himself, how in the hell can he survive against Rusev, who has always proven to be a very dominating competitor? So he just screams out to the audience, screams out in fury once again, trying to take down McIntyre, and he does. And McIntyre now, there you see, just trying his best to get back to his feet, but Rusev has been absolutely dominating him this entire match. Oh, but wait a second, Drew McIntyre perhaps making me eat my words, but instead, he gets a kick right to the gut again. However, now it's McIntyre with a kick in his own right before showing off that raw power, slamming Rusev into the mat. As now McIntyre perhaps sees this as an opening opportunity, my God. What a running kick to the face. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. Okay, Rusev, a bit slow to react there, not realizing what was happening. Couldn't even get his hands up. He just takes a boot right to the face. And Rusev now, who was absolutely dominating, Drew McIntyre's on the receiving end of that Scottish Fury as he rolls to the outside, trying to find himself some breathing room. Oh, boy, a second. He rolls back into the ring, turns it into a cover now, out of nowhere. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count on the Intercontinental Champion. Oh, but he goes for a kick immediately following the cover, and instead McIntyre takes him down. Not quite with a suplex, but with a backward suplex, launching him into the air before dropping him on his chest, on his face, on his stomach. And Rusev now, I don't think he knows where he is. Oh, however, right now he's behind Drew McIntyre. As McIntyre, here we go, launched across the ring again. And the power of Rusev on display. And McIntyre just gets up immediately. McIntyre gets up immediately. Rusev, perhaps shocked, but he's still fighting. But so is McIntyre as their skulls collide in the middle of the ring. McIntyre launched into the air, and then he immediately gets up. As McIntyre, quite like, the action of this entire night here, just going at an incredible amount of speed, going 100 miles a minute here, but Drew McIntyre moves out of the way. However, Rusev connects with a punch right to the face, launching him across the ring into the corner again. Oh, and this time connecting and over again with these punches now, as he has Drew McIntyre in the corner, who perhaps earlier on was just fighting out of adrenaline, but now he can't fight. As Rusev has him up on the top turnbuckle and a few punches there to the Intercontinental Champion. As now, ladies and gentlemen, he seems to have something in mind. Oh, and he connects with the superplex all the way off the top to the mat. Crushing Drew McIntyre perhaps crushing his chances of winning. 2. No, and only a 2 count. Again, he just barely gets the shoulder up, but that's all you need to do to continue fighting, and that's exactly what Drew McIntyre is trying to do. As McIntyre, there you can see, he's very slow to get up. Okay, he's trying his damnedest to fight here. He's trying his damnedest to get up, as Drew, turns around immediately, gets punched in the face before a kick to the back of the skull. Right to the back of the skull goes Rusev's boot. And now he goes for the cover. 1, 2. No, and only a 2 count. Okay, taking a few moments to taunt the crowd. Okay, to scream out. And perhaps those few moments might have just cost him the matchup, as McIntyre kicked out of the kick to the back of the skull. However, the punishment is non-stop when it comes to Rusev here, as he continues to fight, but instead, Drew McIntyre connects there. As he waits for Rusev to get up, perhaps seeing this as an opportunity. But instead, Rusev throws him off. Punches him in the face. Turns him around. Oh, but wait a second. There you see, it's McIntyre with the elbows right to the jaw. But he gets a kick to the leg for his troubles here. And now, what in the hell? Reverse Alabama Slam. Okay, typically a maneuver by Drew McIntyre before he turns it. Hold on a second. Turns it into the Machkalak. Turns it here tonight into the accolade here on McIntyre. But McIntyre gets up. McIntyre gets up out of the accolade. Rusev turns around, gets a kick to the gut before he connects. And the cover off the Future Shock. 2, 3, and this one's over. In a back and forth fight, ladies and gentlemen, by Drew McIntyre and of course his adversary tonight, Rusev. Okay, McIntyre and Rusev absolutely proving their worth here on SmackDown through this one matchup, beating the ever-loving hell out of each other with vicious strikes, raw power. However, in the end, it was an out-of-nowhere future shock DDT that gave Drew McIntyre his victory here tonight. And well, as Drew McIntyre here tonight celebrates this massive, hard-fought victory against Rusev, seems as though he turns around to see Andrade Cien Almas. Okay, well, not entirely sure why Andrade is out here. Okay, getting a closer look perhaps at the Intercontinental Champion. Okay, then, well, oh, wait a second! Andrade! Arm trap DDT connecting! And the first ever NXT champion decides to take out the current Intercontinental Champion. Well, okay then, well, following the massive victory by Drew McIntyre against Rusev, it seems as though Andrade decides to send a message to the champion. And well, message received, I guess. And that message was in the form of an arm trap DDT. However, as McIntyre lays there, perhaps unconscious following that DDT, I want to turn your attention to what's going to be happening next week. Okay, we've got a massive episode as the Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus look to collide in singles competition. Okay, it's been building up for months, and I can't wait to see which one will get the victory. But that's not all, as of course the Intercontinental Champion Drew McIntyre, even after being attacked by Andrade just now a few moments ago, will be in action against the man who will be fighting Edge at WrestleMania. It's going to be McIntyre versus John Cena next week, and I can't wait for that. However, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to turn our attention to none other than the Phenom, the Legend, none other than the Icon. Okay, former WWE Champion, the man who not only defined his legacy at WrestleMania, but enhanced the event as a whole due to his involvement. And as WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen, will only be a few weeks away, you've got to wonder, what exactly is The Undertaker doing here? Okay, last time we saw this legend of the business, undoubtedly this legend of the business, it was back at Survivor Series. He went toe-to-toe against none other than Aleister Black, the man who kicked off this episode with a challenge to Kevin Owens for the WWE title. And we're going to be concluding it with Black's opponent from Survivor Series. The Undertaker, he was scheduled to be here, and I'm not entirely sure why he decided to come out here. I'm not entirely sure why exactly he is in attendance tonight. But I can tell you this, The Undertaker is a very respected individual. He is a beloved competitor. And I can tell you this, The Undertaker, whatever he has to say, you're going to want to hear it. As The Undertaker looks out into the crowd, the sea of people who are celebrating this man. And as you should. Okay, he has given his life. He is the dead man, but he has given his life to this business. As The Undertaker enters that ring, he's not here to compete, but he does have something to say. So what exactly is it that man has to say? I'm not entirely sure. Perhaps one of the biggest superstars to ever lace up a pair of boots in this industry. So exactly what does he have to say? Well, the Undertaker, as we're about to close out this episode, apparently not allowing me the proper time to react to this announcement. The Undertaker just announced it at WrestleMania. He will have not only a singular matchup, but also his last match in the WWE. However, ladies and gentlemen, we are running out of time here. Thank you all for watching as The Undertaker is having his last match at WrestleMania.